Entrepreneurship can be really hard, and when you're doing it by yourself, trying to navigate the terrain, it can almost be impossible. That's why we created the Entrepreneur Circle. Every episode, you're going to hear from incredible entrepreneurs who are in the same trenches that you are in. And we're going to talk through what's working, what's not working, whether it be in marketing, finance, or anything in between. We're here to talk business and figure out how each of us can rise together. So welcome to the circle. Let's dig in. Welcome to this episode of Entrepreneur Circle. I am so excited to be here with Ronnie. He owns Company Clean, which is a very fast growing cleaning company. And I'm so excited for you guys to hear from Ronnie because just from our conversations, I can tell your mind works in systems and processes. And I think this topic is one of the most important topics for companies that are serious about scaling and go to the next level. So Ronnie, I appreciate you joining me. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Paresa. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. So Ronnie, give me first kind of a background for those of our listeners who aren't familiar with what you do, who you are. Give us that 50,000 foot view of who is Ronnie.
Yeah, so I'm the owner of Company Clean. We started back in January 2022. So I've been in business 3 years. We serve the South Denver area, like Highlands Ranch, Littleton. Those areas are our bread and butter. I started this because after COVID, there was a lot of time, right? We were just sitting around not doing much. Mm-hmm. So within 18 months, I knocked out a bachelor's degree and an MBA and decided let's go ahead and start a business. I chose cleaning because it was low capital. And I did not think about the commoditization aspect of it. There's a ton of people, because it's low capital, you don't have to have a license. All you need is a mop and a bucket, and you can call yourself a cleaner. And so I've been learning all about that throughout the way. A lot of scars to show for it, just stumbling, making mistakes, because I did start this business myself. This is a ground up company. This is not a franchise or anything like that. So I wanted to see what entrepreneurs had to get into from the beginning to build something.
Right. And you've done just that. I mean, how long has it been? It's only been a year?
3 years.
3 years. Mm-hmm. 3 years. And I think there's so much because there's milestones in business, right? You make it past 1 year. And then if you can make it past 3 years, then it's rather smooth sailing. I think the next milestone they say is 5 years or so. And I think there's so much within what you're doing because the goals that you've set for this year are really kind of that hockey stick growth trajectory. And you have a plan in place to take you there. So it's essentially you found the vehicle, you have you found the avenue. Tell me about when you look at other cleaning companies in the Denver area, when you look at your capabilities and their capabilities, I think there's one big piece here that stands out for me as a consumer of having my house cleaned is your diligence in having people who can answer the phone, having automated systems in place that can nurture leads in a quick turnaround, right? You're not letting people submit, I'm interested in cleaning, and then sit there for more than a few, maybe even not even a day. Yeah. Minutes.
A day. Are you kidding me? No.
Yeah. So let's talk through that because I think number one, let's talk through the automations that you have in place for this. So someone comes to your website and they're interested in cleaning. And I remember something you said that stood out so much to me is that if someone comes to your website, they submit an inquiry, they're interested right now. If they don't hear back right now, they're going to go to the next company, cleaning company, and submit a form there. So it really becomes a race to who can spark that conversation first. Walk me through that realization, because I think that's applicable to any business, right? Probably more in your industry because it's okay, I want to have my house cleaned right now, right? But I think for me, for example, being in marketing, if I have somebody who's looking for help with social media and they're shopping their options, they are shopping in that moment. They are in the mindset of I'm ready to get more information, right? So let's talk through that. As far as the type of response, what is the response that you have in place right now when somebody submits a form? Then what happens?
Yeah, so we've done a couple of different things. So like for instance, in home services, Angie's is very big. So that's one of our big lead sources. And again, for home services, like you were saying, whenever you're going to shop for one, you're in the moment, you want to buy right then. And if someone doesn't answer, they don't pick up that phone, they're going to the next person. They're going to the next person. So, and we actually shop our competitors and watch them to see if they actually do these things. But what we put in place is multitudes of systems, actually. Like the first off is being able to answer the phone, right? I'm on podcast right now. I go to a lot of networking events. I can't be there to answer the phone as a business owner. Honestly, you really shouldn't be. So I hired a VA. She is there to answer the phones all day, and I put her through training with Power Selling Pros. She goes every month to just kind of work on like call scripts and just building rapport, building empathy, and showing the value of our company. So that helps booking rates, close rates right there. The second piece, back to the Angie's part, is like right whenever someone submits on Angie's, within 3 minutes, our automated text messaging system pings them and says, hey, Ronnie here from Company Clean. Thank you so much for reaching out. We're about to give you a call, but if you'd like, here's a booking form so you can schedule on your own time for a call. Because what I noticed is like even through Angie's, even though they're ready to buy or they seem like they would be, I mean, you're putting in a request for a cleaning company or HVAC or whatever, right? They wouldn't answer the phone. So the house cleaners, we would answer the phone, but the customer wouldn't. And so what I thought about is like, they're just not ready. Or if they would answer, they'd be like, I don't have time for the sale, because we're building rapport. We're here to build relationships because we're not the cheapest. And so if people are just looking for price, we are always going to lose. So with this booking form, what that does is this is all automated too, sends them emails, text, follow-up and everything. But it gives them time to talk on their own schedule. And we've seen close rates go from like 40% on those all the way up to 80% now. Mm-hmm. And it just makes for such a better customer experience with that.
Wow.
And to your point about the forms, actually just last week, I took the forms off of my website because I've seen this in home service, marketing, etc., to where they're like, hey, lead, fill out this form and we'll call you back. But they're ready right then. So I replaced it with a Calendly link. It says, hey, book your schedule right now to talk with us, again, on your time. And we still collect the same information. We get their name, we get their zip code, their email and phone number. It just removes that friction, that extra step. And we're seeing, again, much higher close rates off of that.
Wow. You said you went from 40% to 80% close rate?
On that exact type of booking.
Yeah.
Not like if someone just calls or anything, our booking rates aren't that high on just initial calls. But when they book that calendar link, so they have the time to talk with us, yes.
Interesting. I think that's a big piece of it, is putting it in the consumer's or the customer's court of, okay, you tell me when you're available. Because I think that's something that we've run into too, is that kind of back and forth of when do we get on a call to have the conversation.
Exactly. Because like Alex Hormozy, I listen to his podcasts and read his books all the time. And he's all about removing friction. Anywhere in the customer experience you can remove friction, do that. So the other thing that we do is if they book out, say, 2 days ahead, and this is another thing for folks on here, is only let them book up to 2 days ahead, because at that point they're probably going to fall off. So don't let them go too far. But we'll contact them that day and say, hey, we had an opening for a call today, like someone canceled, would you like to move up? Because we're always trying to move these meetings forward, because one, they're probably available, and then second, that opens up new booking slots for other people as they come in. So you're pulling all of this forward, making the sale quicker, and again, converting faster.
I feel like this is applicable across the board. I mean, when you look at systems and processes, it's become more and more evident to me how important it is to have those in place, but not even just like SOPs. I mean, the actual technical elements through the different softwares that we have that are doing the thing for us. It's automations. Because if you don't have that, it all falls onto our shoulders or our team's shoulders. And that's where there's more room for error. The ball can drop. But if you have something set in stone that you build one time, and then it's just managing and optimizing, seeing how you can test it and improve it, I think that's what really helps you take it to that next level. Because you got some big goals, man. We were talking before we clicked record. Tell me what your goals are for this year.
I want to step back really quick because one thing I always
Yeah.
notice on podcasts is people don't say what they use, right? So I've got all this stuff. I use Fluent Forms for capturing lead info. We use Zapier, obviously, Calendly, and then Chirp for like text message follow-ups.
Okay.
So integrating all of that together is how we do our automations.
And are you pulling everything together with Zaps? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
I love that. Did you pick those softwares because they would integrate together via Zap, or did you just shop and find the ones that had the best functionalities for you and figure out how to integrate on the back end?
I would say both, because like you want to make sure the integrations are there. But I looked at the top people again. Like I love A1 Garage Doors, Tommy Mello, home service expert. They have a group that they tell all their softwares that they use, and so they recommend a lot of these. Again, Hormozy. Just look at who the top players are, and whenever people are mentioning companies, like take a look at them, and they're probably going to integrate because I mean these dudes are huge and they're gonna be flexible.
Right. The bigger the company, the more likely they'll integrate, especially with things like Zapier.
And you don't have to have a big budget. All told, all of those systems together for me cost me $500 a month. Yeah, it's not much at all.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Gosh, I think that's one of my biggest things is my software expense. It's a little different because we're fully running on softwares, right? It's like project management. It's dialing in on the different creative platforms, Adobe Illustrator, etc. Like there's so much within our business that runs on software. But I think when you have an in-person service, it's a totally different game.
Oh no, like that's just that part of it is $500. No, I spend a lot on software, like a month and everything too. Because I mean, we have Adobe and everything because we have to create marketing materials, and then also we just like to make materials for our customers, make things look good. And our CRM, of course, you want to have a good CRM because that's how you're following up with leads, right?
Yeah.
The software expense is definitely there, and home services too.
Okay, I was gonna say, gosh, am I just in the wrong business with these software? It's just the way of the land now. I mean, it's 2025. Everybody's running on tech.
But do you think it's an expense, right? Because like what you're saying is like all the stuff that it can do, the people that you would have to hire for that, or the manual tasks that you would have to do, or even yourself, right? Like it's not really an expense, it's just an investment in your business to help you
move faster. I think that's the biggest thing is when there's a big difference between having somebody own a process and have the tribal knowledge behind it. Meaning, when I say tribal knowledge, that's when somebody has all of their processes and expertise in their head and they don't share it or put it into a process that can be duplicated so that your company can scale. There's so many things when it comes to how we get in the habit of writing down a new process and where we write it down. So can I ask how you do it? Do you do standard operating procedures on like a Word doc, or do you have it templatized in one of your softwares? How do you go about locking in processes so that the bones are there for you to scale?
Yeah, so we have one for the admin side. So again, I come from a software engineering background, so we use Confluence, which is much like a Wikipedia style of editing and everything. We put all of our processes in there, and my team is expected, if there's something new that they're doing, they've done it twice, it needs to be documented. And I even do that myself. There's a CEO tab in the processes that says, here's everything that Ronnie does on a daily basis, just in case, because like, if I ever leave or anything, or I want to replace myself, it's all there and I don't have to go and do that.
Oh, I love that. So Confluence.
We do that. And then we have obviously the training systems, which is outside of Confluence, which is like it's our manual for our technicians, our cleaning technicians.
Okay, got it. Yeah. How is the training process with clean technicians? Because I imagine it's when you onboard a new cleaner who is actually going out into people's homes and doing the service. With how amazing Company Clean is, you guys have a standard of product delivery, right? That exceeds expectations of a lot of people. That's why you've gotten to where you are. So when it comes down to training a new cleaner, what's that process like for you?
So everyone at Company Clean has to pass first the wife test, to where like after I do the hiring and everything, and that's where a lot of this, if you shift this left at the hiring side, you can not skip training, but you can minimize the time to go live. But everyone has to pass the wife test, where they meet my wife, and if my wife doesn't like them, they're out the door. Because
awesome.
Like I was hiring whenever we first started someone. I invited that cleaner over to the house, and Liz was like, whenever that person came in, I wanted to hide my purse. And I was like, well, that's not a good customer experience. So I immediately fired that person. And that's just become like the standard ever since then.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that. Talk about a power couple. Team
Yeah.
dynamic. Is your wife involved in the company, or she's doing her own thing?
That's about her involvement in the company.
That's
Yeah.
very important. It's
Yeah.
quality assurance, right? I
Yeah.
love that.
And then we have like a 30-day onboarding period to where you come in. We obviously train you how to do baseboards. We use a service called Clean Smart Academy. It's by Sharon Tinberg. She's been in the game for, like decades. She's really good. And she created this like house training program. Like a lot of the bigger, I'm not going to name the companies, but most of the biggest independent cleaning companies in America, that's not like a franchise, like a Molly Maid or something, they've all used and built their cleaning companies off of her systems. So we take them through that. She's been kind enough to kind of do some coaching with me and everything, and given her feedback on the program. And yeah, we just run them through that, and it seems to be very successful because like our technicians are expected to clean 800 square feet per hour per individual. So you got to have good systems in place, standard processes. That way at every home, cleaning's the same, right? And just kind of keep repeating on that.
As you share your experience, I'm very much catching the tools are there. You're keeping track of the right metrics, and you're not reinventing the wheel. I mean, you're not. I think that's the biggest thing here is you're not reinventing the wheel. You are just being very diligent in how you're building this and doing it in a way that delivers a premium experience for your customers. I think that's something to admire because there's so many entrepreneurs who feel like they have to reinvent the wheel and do something different and start over. And yeah, for sure, be creative, right? But there's also a beauty in seeing what has already worked out there and improving upon it. And that in itself is what will differentiate you and make you different. When you started this company 3 years ago, were you worried about that? Or did you come into it knowing I don't need to recreate the wheel, I just need to optimize the wheel?
I definitely tried to be clever in the beginning to stand out, but then we started doing a lot of R&D, replicate and duplicate, just taking what other people had success with, because like that's how your industry just keeps getting better, is because like someone does something great, someone else does it too, that person has to get better, then they get better. And the thing that I really found out is with entrepreneurs, especially successful ones, they love to talk about themselves. So I would just call people up. I would go on Google, look for who's the biggest in like the largest metropolitan areas. And I would just call them and be like, hey, can I talk for like an hour? I'm new. I really need some help, guys. And no one ever said no, or you have to pay me or something like that, right?
Right.
I would ask them very detailed information, like what's your booking rate? What's your gross profit? What are you paying your technicians? All of that. And boom, they would just give you all their numbers. Because we were talking about this earlier, right? With certain networking groups not wanting like competition within it, within the groups. Again, like if competitors, especially in the area, if everyone's doing really good and they have your systems in place, the quality's going up, the looks going up, people are wearing uniforms, they're driving wrapped vehicles, the rates go up, right? Because people expect that level of professionalism. So everyone benefits whenever everyone's at that same level.
Right.
So I love giving away secrets or just what we do.
All ships rise with the tide, right?
Yeah.
I'm very much of that mindset too, is I'll tell you everything that we do. You can do it yourself, or if you need help, we're here. You know where to find us. I think that's the same gist of it. And that kind of takes me to the next thing I wanted to talk through with you is this concept of mentorship, coaching. There's a progression in the life of an entrepreneur where, you know, you come in, you're the newbie, you're the rookie, you need the guidance, right? And then you get to a certain point in your journey where then you can give the guidance and receive the guidance. And then I don't know if you ever come out of that point, because we could all always grow and always use the guidance. I don't know if you ever outgrow benefiting from a mentor or a coach, right? Tell me about your experience with that. You mentioned, remind me of her name, the person?
Sharon.
Sharon. Yeah. It sounds like she was a bit of a mentor for you.
Yeah, a little bit of both. And so like mentors, I don't know that you would grow out of, but coaches, you should level up your coaches. Like find a coach that's where you want to be in the next year, 18 months, get with them, get to where they're at, and then maintain friendships and everything, but then like go and find that next level.
Right.
I mean, there's people that run billion-dollar companies. They still have a multitude of coaches, right? But it's just like who they may be doing $1 billion and now they want to do 5. So they get with those people.
Right.
And yeah, you always need someone to talk to, and it helps out so much.
It helps out so much. Do you have a business coach right now? You do. Yeah. Awesome. What are the types of things that you look for when you're looking for a business coach? Because at this point, it's like you have your automations unlocked. You're scaling in the right direction. Is it more mindset for you, or are they hands-on kind of helping build more foundational elements?
Basically, they need to have already done it. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not a huge fan of the general business coach, like just the ones that have the groups and everything, and that's all they do is coaching, right? Like, I want someone, and again, this is why I just call them. Like, find them online and call them, and then even just straight up ask, will you be my coach? And some eventually will want money, but some don't. But that part is just like where you want to be. Like, so they've already done it. They've gone through it. They've got the scars too. And they'll be like, because again, like I always want to be clever in a lot of this stuff. And my old coach, he would be like, don't do that. You know, he goes, I love the ideas that you come up with, but you're probably going to lose a lot of money, or I've tried that and it didn't work in my market. So if you do try it, maybe do these other ways, right? But yeah, like I want them in my same industry. They need to be like far ahead of me. So they've just, that way I can catch up really quick. Like I want to tear down like 5 years worth of work and do that in 1 year, right? And with coaches, and pay for the coach. Like if they cost a lot of money, but they're where you want to be, pay them. Because like 1,000, maybe even like I just paid this one thing like $30,000 for like coaching and stuff for a year. But again, it's an investment in the company because like they have proven results, and I know that I'm going to make way more off of that $30K investment.
Right. It'll duplicate, if not hopefully 10x, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I think that's the key, is finding the right coach in the right season and filling the gaps, right? Because I have had some incredible mindset coaches. For instance, when I left corporate America and I went into entrepreneurship, flipping from that employee mindset to an entrepreneur's mindset, which I'm sure you could attest to as well, because you software engineer, right? Mm-hmm. So working in that corporate environment where you have the steady paycheck, you see the growth, you're crushing it in the political realm, if you will, and then you leave, and it's all about not only believing in yourself, believing in your mission, believing in your team, and it just continues growing as you grow as an entrepreneur. It's like directly related, is your business's growth will reflect how much you grow personally and professionally. I think that flip in the mindset is the first step. And then you get into the foundational pieces of, okay, how am I going to structure this to scale? And then it becomes almost just leveling up, like you said, someone who's done what you have done, or done what you want to do at different levels. And that's what the next coach should be. That's what it's seeming to me as I go through this journey. I'm very much I'm seeing the different needs in guidance for me personally. First, it was the mindset. Then it was okay, what are the bones of the business? Okay, we built the bones. And then it's just more general, but leveling up in experience of the coach so that you can kind of pull from that.
And you still have a coach right now?
I do. Yeah. And it's been great. And I think it's time to kind of bring in some more on the, quite frankly, the like monetary side, and like a CFO in a sense, like a fractional CFO or something. That's where I'm at. I'm like, I need somebody to come like help me expand on this.
Yeah.
You know,
like for coaching, you don't only have to stick with like one at a time. You can have multiple and everything.
Where they're more focused in on a specific topic. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I'm learning too. So it's fun to be able to kind of talk through what's working for you, see how it relates to what I'm doing. And I know our listeners are probably picking apart everything we're saying and seeing how it applies to their businesses. What would you tell somebody who is just at that forefront? They know they have the pieces of the puzzle and they're ready to scale. What would you tell them as they go in that journey?
I would focus on one area. Like the big thing, again, this is what Alex Hormozy talks about, and I just went to his workshop to kind of figure these things out, is what is your constraint in your business, right? Is it marketing? Like for me in cleaning, it's hiring, because cleaning is not a demand-based issue. Like there's always demand for people needing house cleaning, but the supply of people that can actually do this stuff, do it well, is very small. So that's where that constraint can be. So I would work on finding out, what's just holding your business back from scaling. And it's going to just take a lot of sitting down, looking at numbers, researching, and it's going to be different for every single business. So I don't have one specific point for people to look at. Generally, it's going to be marketing and sales. Because if you're not bringing enough leads, if your phone's not ringing, you don't have customers to convert, right? You can have the best sales team in the world, but if your marketing sucks and no one's coming in, or your advertising's terrible, you have a terrible offer, you're not going to be making those sales.
I couldn't agree more. I think that's something that so many people overlook. You look at corporations, even when they come to budget cuts, marketing is one of the first things that goes. But then what happens when that goes? It's a domino effect, because it all starts with the leads. It all starts with how you're perceived from the public and if they want to work with you or not. Otherwise, your phones don't even ring to give your sales team that opportunity. So I can appreciate that you said that. It's preaching to the choir.
I mean, to me, marketing has to be the strongest aspect of your business. You can advertise, but you're going to be spending all the time, right? Because again, advertising is just a straight cost. Marketing, much more long tail. There's organic growth that you get out of it. But I would definitely market.
Yeah. What are some things that you're doing to market your business?
Right now, I consider BNI marketing, right? So go into a lot of that. And then for anyone in BNI or like a networking group, if you're only sticking with your one group or your one chapter, you need to be visiting other chapters. I've made more money outside of my own chapter than I have just like sticking with it, right?
Right.
So be out there. You have to network, even if it's not within BNI. If you're a small business, a startup, everything is personal relationships nowadays, because just again, like advertising online is just throwing money at the Google machine. PPC rates are going up. Everyone's doing it. It's hard to stand out. But if you come in, you build personal relationships with people, you're going to crush it. You're going to get the business that you need. Yeah,
I couldn't agree more. It's how I've built my company, is through things like BNI. I'm part of a mastermind called Four Rooms, a faith-fueled collective. Like there's multiple different networking groups that I have raised my hand for, and it's become one of the main sources of our referrals. We don't do any paid ads. Everything is through organic, social, and networking.
And you're affable and charming, so makes it that's a kind of perfect person for networking events, right? Like you're easy to converse with, and people are going to remember Paresa, and whenever they want to do podcast or something, you're going to be the person they go to. Yeah, I hope so. I appreciate it. Well, thank you so much, Ronnie, for joining us. You have been just a delight to talk through this with, and I think just you exemplify what all entrepreneurs are aspiring to do, is have it be more simplified, less complex. There are steps in place that you follow, and then you'll get the result. It's as simple as that. So I appreciate it, Ronnie. Thank you for coming on. Excellent. Thank you very much for having me on. Good to see you. Good to see you too. Thanks. Remember this as you go about your day today. The ideas that are on your heart for a reason. Do not ignore them. Tune into them. Tap in, lean in, understand them, and pursue them. If not you, then who? If this episode was helpful to you in any way, please like, share, comment, subscribe. It does wonders for our efforts, and it helps us to continue our mission of inspiring entrepreneurs and giving them the resources and the perspective we all need to take it to the next level. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Paresa Noble, and we'll catch you next time.